Welcome everyone to Pod on the Apex's Imola review, the 2025 Emilia Romagna Grand Prix, or as I like to call it, the Formula One AWS Gran Premio del Made in Italy del Emilia Romagna 2025. But all right, so very
I'm
exciting
surprised you
race.
got that without stumbling even a single bit.
Oh, I was reading it from the. I cheated. But yeah, Aniket, a very interesting race this was compared to Imola of the past few years, which tended to be a bit boring. We had a much more exciting race today. We saw Imola has traditionally been a very driver limited circuit. Right? It's very technical, very challenging for the
Yeah.
drivers. But and we did see that both in quali and on in the race on Sunday. We had two red flags in qualifying. We had I think the race. We only had mechanical issues, not really any crashes.
Yeah.
So I guess drivers learned
And
from Saturday.
yeah.
But again, we had a virtual safety car. We had a safety car that just went on for way too long.
Yeah.
But overall, a decent, entertaining race, Aniket.
Yeah, very decent, very entertaining as you said, and very watchable as well, unlike few of the other races which we had early in the
Yeah,
season. So I think the grid being mixed up also helped with Ferraris being down the order, and also a few other uh, you know battles in the middle also helped it.
yeah.
The DRS train also helped us to be on our heels to keep the fans more engaged as to how the strategy is going to play out later on. So
Also,
that
another
also.
thing, did you notice we had overtakes not just in the DRS zone, but even after the DRS zone, right? No, near Tosa or the Villeneuve chicane, we saw overtakes there too.
We did, and that proved that on some of these tracks the cars are indeed able to follow and they
Yeah,
have a better straight. And also I felt that the tire offset also played a big deal because those who were on the harder tires compared to the medium tires, that also quite kind of helped some of the drivers as well. So I think Pirelli did a good job with the tires to getting in the more softer compounds that forced teams to make quite a number
yeah,
of stops
absolutely.
and.
This year's hard
Uh,
was last year's medium tire, so
and that should probably be the way to go. But I think tires are going to
yeah,
play a crucial part
we need
for the
degrading
excitement
tires,
of the track.
man.
Yes, we need degrading tires, and we also need more action. So that's what's going to help. And uh, and obviously we need to tip our cap to Mr. Max Verstappen. He made
Yes,
a brilliant overtake in turn one. I think that was his chance to pass Oscar, and he took it in his first attempt without any remorse or without any
and
uh,
he kept it clean.
basically
Aniket, they
kept
kept
it
it
clean.
clean. Max kept
Yeah.
it clean. Daddy Max has
We
learned to
didn't
keep it
see a
clean.
rash move. We didn't see a rash overtake. We saw someone who had the corner, who knew what he was doing all along,
Yeah.
and he did get the worst of the starts from out of Russell and Piastri,
Yeah,
but
I thought Russell was
the
going to
second
P1, man. He was looking very good
Russell
on
had a
that
great start,
straight.
but he got a little bogged down by Piastri who blocked him, and but Piastri didn't see the outside, and here comes Max swooping around,
Toot, toot,
just
toot, toot.
stealing P1. Exactly, stealing P1, and he never lost the lead in the entire race. The safety car, the virtual safety car definitely helped
Yeah,
to keep his lead afloat and probably extend it even further.
right.
But didn't put a single foot wrong. I think Red Bull do have some of their kind of the issues which they had, at least a few of them solved, or at least on the way to solving it. And Max did seem very happy in the car,
Yeah.
and also. Yuki Tsunoda had a great race coming back after that horrible crash in qualifying. He finished in the points, I
P10.
believe, P10.
P10, P10.
P10 right from the back of the grid. So great race from Yuki as well. So Red Bull, I believe, are on the front foot all of a sudden. Like we wrote
Yeah.
them off pretty early, especially with how McLaren was doing. But here they are back. Max is winning races again, and
But,
he dominated the
mhm.
race from start to finish.
Yeah, but how much of this is, obviously Red Bull has made some improvements to the car, for sure. But how much of this is Red Bull improving the car versus Max just being an absolute animal in that cockpit?
I would say it's a bit of both. We always knew Max was, the kind of driver who can get
Yeah.
everything out of the car and more. But definitely there was no complaints from him regarding brakes or tires or
Mm-hmm.
anything this race. He actually, to be frank, we didn't hear much on the team radio from him. I'm not sure if there was something said
No, I
that.
think he was generally pretty happy. I think in the
Yeah,
press
so
media
that
interviews he looked pretty happy.
exactly.
Um,
So I believe that Red Bull do have, a hold on some of the issues they've been facing, and it
yeah.
does seem like
Mm-hmm.
they're in a good spot At least I'm not saying we should call them the favorites now because it's just one race, but
Right.
the race is on the bounce now. So we'll see how it pans out in Monaco. I think Monaco will not basically show the strengths of a car because it's more on the driver. If he's got position, basically if he does his quali lap well, he can probably hold that position
But
throughout the race.
also, I think there seems to be a pattern that the Red Bull is good on front limited tracks, and Monaco is a more rear limited track because it's so slow,
Mhm.
all the slow
Yeah.
corners. So I think Red Bull may struggle again this weekend, but yeah, we'll talk about Monaco more later. Um,
Yes.
it's coming back to
But at least
Imola.
that the triple header has started off on a good note for Red
Yes,
Bull.
absolutely. I think it's more of keeping front and rear limited tracks aside. I think Red Bull Max Verstappen in particular sent a message to the McLarens,
And
to the
what's
boys from
surprising
Papaya.
is the McLarens couldn't come close to Max. We always thought okay McLarens would get them in the race because see McLaren's one lap pace might be a little slow, but in the race they are like miles ahead of everyone else. But this
Yeah,
race proves that the updates which Red Bull brought have worked.
I mean also Max did have the benefit of clean air, so he could really make use of that.
Yeah.
Um, you know, I think kind of negated some of the tire issues that Red Bull's having this season.
Hmm.
The clean air just kind of made it a little
I
better
think
for
cleaner
them.
triumphs everything
Yeah,
in
yeah,
today's F1.
totally.
But yeah, the Red Bull car definitely did have the upgrades working.
Right. Yeah, they did get new side pods, right? That was supposed to be a pretty major upgrade this for the Imola weekend. So it
Yeah.
seems to be it's working. But yeah, moving on from Red Bull, talking about the jersey you're wearing, Ferrari. What a wild weekend for the money kid. It's like so qualifying. We read the instant reactions on Saturday, and we were completely depressed, right? What's that? Charles in P11, Lewis in P12. Utter disaster. Both Ferraris missed out on Q3 after I don't know what are the last time they missed. Both Ferraris missed Q3. I think
Yeah. I have no idea.
it's
I think
been a
that's just
long
that.
time.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
then Sunday we see some spicy strategy from the Scarlet Boys.
I think they mixed up the strategy, which was good. Lewis was on hard, Charles was on medium, so they kind of
I
got
think it's also the reason why Oscar
straight up
lost the race because Charles's early pit stop freaked the hell out of McLaren.
triggered everyone else. So, I mean, to be frank, Ferrari, again, the quality issue still persists.
Yeah,
We'll talk about that in terms of they've not solved that issues yet. They've been having bad qualies right from the start of the season,
right.
and also it's not improved so far. So they definitely have to work on that. But coming to the race, I think Lewis had mentioned after quali that they had decent race pace.
Yeah,
Obviously, Ferrari's words or Ferrari performances should never get taken into context because they've had a poor season so far. So I was
yeah.
still very skeptic on what Lewis said, but
Hmm.
knowing Lewis, he doesn't say things unless he knows it. So I felt there was something in there, and also they did the strategy split, so they got better data on in the race. They didn't go with the
Yep.
same tires
Hmm.
on both cars. So that helped. I think they did. Charles made a better start than Lewis. I think Lewis dropped a place to Kimi in the start, while Charles gained a couple of places.
Right.
But I think the strategy worked brilliantly on both the drivers. Especially Charles going from medium to hard initially, and he gained a lot of places
Yeah, that
because
worked out very well because that undercut was massive. I mean,
massive. Yeah, yeah.
like it triggered everyone into pit stops. I think there was this. I think the medium tires are having a phase where they would go
Mm.
bad for a few laps before coming
And then they will
back.
come good. Yes.
Then they would come good again, like the beginning. And I think Ferrari obviously did not know that they would come good, so they just pit, and then everybody pit trying to cover the undercut, and just Charles went up so many places. And I think the
Yeah.
some of the front runners, I think Max and Nando did not pit, right? And
Mm.
the tires came back for them, so they just kept going.
Yeah.
But it's still, I think at one point Ferrari is looking good to have like a podium.
They were. I mean, Lewis could have got a podium at the end. Charles was, probably in hunt for a podium.
Yeah,
Um, so the virtual safety car helped Lewis afterwards. He was able to pit under that virtual safety car and did
yep,
lose a lot of places. And
cheap
then
pit
we
stop,
saw the full safety car when Kimi stopped.
right?
And then unfortunately, Charles could not pit because he didn't have a fresh set of tires, I believe. While
Yeah,
Lewis put on a fresh set of hards, which definitely helped him. And then Lewis zoomed from what P7 to P4, I guess.
yeah,
And
he was
unfortunately,
on fire. Lewis in the
yeah,
third stint was absolutely amazing.
amazing. And the car was working really well on their hard
Yeah,
tires with low
and
fuel.
if you look at the race, obviously Max Verstappen finished with the fastest lap, but Mister 7-time Lewis Hamilton had the second fastest lap of the race.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah,
the Ferrari does have not just decent; it has very good race pace, but they have to
quali
figure out
pace.
qualifying. Man, this is so frustrating. Man, like a couple of years ago, you see Ferrari having amazing one lap pace in qualifying, and then completely garbage on Sunday in the race. Now they
Yeah.
seem to have fixed the race pace issues and the sacrifice qualifying.
I think they really need to find a sweet spot between
Yeah.
this because the quali cannot be this bad. If they were
Yes.
starting like say P4 or P5, I think they'd have a shot at victory or at
Yeah.
least even a clear cut podium. But
Right.
starting further back down the grid, it just negates any chance of opportunity
Hmm.
and helps. I mean, they have to rely on a safety car or something, and that came in this race that kind of helped both Lewis and Charles. And then ultimately, the safety car did cost Ferrari a podium with it being so out there so for so long,
Yeah.
and
What is
Lewis could
going on in
not
the
catch
safety car,
Oscar.
man? Like,
Yeah, it just
like it
ruined
was
like
longer than
couple
the
of.
virtual safety car, and I think both the cars stopped roughly in the same position, right on the same place in the grass.
Yeah, I think it was just because the crane's positioning or something, and they didn't want to
Yeah.
risk anything with getting the safety car in earlier than expected. So they just let it go until it was very safe or something.
But
So
why was it even a safety car in the first place? Like the first one was VSC, and the
yeah,
same thing happened there too.
I think they just probably wanted to spice up the race, so they just threw on the safety car. Uh,
Sure, but how is your safety car lasting longer than VSC? That like even the announcers were so confused. They're like, why is the safety car still not going away?
yes,
Right?
yes,
It
I
just
agree.
ate up all the laps.
But Ferrari, yeah, good race from them. We'll see how they go to Monaco. We obviously know Charles won there last year. Charles does have a new race suit for Monaco. We'll talk about it later in our
Yeah.
Monaco review. But let's see how they do in Monaco because it's not going to be so much on the, on the. I mean, their weaknesses might not be very apparent there because of the track
They need
nature.
one lap pace, which they absolutely don't have at this point.
That's what I'm going to overtake everyone in Monaco.
Yeah, like you
This
qualify
is the
P11
race.
and P12 in Monaco, you're finishing P11 and P12 in Monaco.
This is the race where they have to fix their,
Yeah,
one lap pace. So we'll see what happens, how they fix their setup.
yeah. But yeah, let's talk about the boys in Papaya. Um, Lando Norris being frustrated that he's not getting team orders. Why is he expecting team orders in race 7? It's
Yeah.
it's a 24 race season. Why is he expecting team orders in race 7, especially when he's not even leading the championship, right? Oscar Piastri is the leader of the drivers' championship, and like I get it, Lando felt he could have caught Max maybe, and kind of try to win the race, but I'm not really sure how much he could have caught Max, to be honest. I think even after he overtook Oscar, he was not really setting the pace alight. Max was just having another race of his own at the front. So yeah, I mean it was very weird. Like his passive aggressive. What guys? I don't want to overtake, but maybe something.
Yeah, I think you summed it up pretty well for McLaren. I mean, they have their own issues now with two drivers who are
Yeah.
equally fighting for the championship or an equal chance to fight for championship. So they'll probably have to decide somewhere in a few races as to who they need to prioritize based on how they're performing because Max is coming up fast on them and they cannot afford like two drivers fighting for a championship to cost them another driver's championship because this has
Yeah,
probably
but
been their best chance in so long to win a driver. So they have to kind of prioritize one driver or the other pretty soon.
But as long as they keep it clean, do you think McLaren really cares? I mean, McLaren has always had this thing of having two good drivers, right? I
Yeah,
mean, you go back way back to the 80s. They had Prost and Senna. Come on, that was like another level of
yeah.
madness in Prost and
But I
Senna.
feel
And
this is like a new McLaren team, right? They've not been in this position for so long with drivers fighting for a
agreed.
championship.
But I think McLaren made a conscious choice in
I
having
think last
two
year we
number
saw a lot
ones.
of mistakes from them on this front.
Right, right.
So I think this year they need to like choose wisely as to who they want to back.
Yeah, I mean they need to be a little
Especially
bold in
this.
the strategy. I mean we did see that they tried to cover Ferrari, which I mean, sure it didn't work out eventually, but it was
Yeah.
a good play to kind of split the strategies because both started on mediums, Lando and Oscar. But
But
they
I think
did,
I love Oscar like pretty exposed when it came to the overcut because he was so far down the grid.
yeah.
He had to overtake so many
I
cars.
mean I mean that
I think,
safety car did kind of screw McLaren a bit as it
yeah.
as it screwed Charles Leclerc, right? Because Piastri cut covering, Charles with that with that, they pit pretty soon after Ferrari, so the undercut didn't, affect them much. And then you saw Oscar just overtaking everybody. You saw Oscar make a lot of overtakes in the
Yeah.
race, right? He was overtaking people who did not pit yet. So like that is the kind of pace he was setting. So I did like that at least McLaren are trying out some, bold strategy and stuff. I mean, till now they're just pretty much double stacking drivers every race, right? I mean, sure, not actually double stacking, but you get what I mean, right? Successive laps, pit them both,
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
not really take chances. So I like that McLaren took some chances, you know, with the favored driver. So yeah, I mean, we'll see. I think a bit of an unlucky race for McLaren, but I really don't think they should do team orders this early. When
No, 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 no way.
yeah,
But I think it's coming up in the next 4 or 5 races based on how these guys perform against each
yeah. I
other.
mean, I think if we
Because like
see
Red Bull is improving, Max is
right.
always gonna be there, so they have to decide pretty
But
soon.
I mean, if you see some spicy stuff like them taking each other out or coming close to taking each other out,
Yeah.
I think that point they will take a decision. But
Mm.
yeah, I think it is a summer break. We won't see much on that front.
We won't see. I agree. We won't see much.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a lot of fun, man. Seeing two drivers from the same team duke it out against each
I
other,
agree.
and I mean, all for all you
It's been
all the
quite.
talk about Red Bull, there's only one driver doing it, right? They really can't.
Yeah,
Red Bull, like even though they have a number one, number two philosophy, Yuki is like so far behind. Like he can't do anything.
I agree.
Yeah. And what about so this race, the Mercedes Power Units had a good race. The factory team was the third best Mercedes Power Unit team. How good was Williams, man? Is James
Oh, I
Vowles
agree.
turning a corner? P
I
five
think
and P
Williams.
five and P8.
Yeah, Williams is turning a corner. I think they look very rejuvenated. They look very confident. They had a
Yeah,
great quali in Imola, and they had even kind of even better race, I would think,
yeah,
because they
yeah.
finished P5 and P8, and
Mm.
they're very good. Clearly now the best of the rest. Sometimes even better than Ferrari and quali. So we know that James Vowles is a very determined and very
Mm.
brave team principal, and he's showing that he's taking on bold decisions. Carlos Sainz was a great signing for them.
Yeah.
That's pushing Alex Albon as well, and yeah, I think they are headed for a very good season this year. I think we did again. I come back to our prediction because I think we had suggested they would have a very strong season, and they indeed
Yes.
having a very strong season, and they're probably kind of far and away clear of the other teams, barring say Racing Bulls. I think apart from
Easily,
that,
easily.
everyone else they are kind of clear of at this point.
I mean, we predicted that they would be the fifth best team in the championship, and they are the fifth best team right now,
Yes,
behind the big four. So comfortably
exactly.
the fifth best team. I mean, next is Haas is quite a way behind.
And their reliability has also been very encouraging to see.
Yeah.
The previous Williams cars didn't have very good reliability over the last few years, but this year they did. It does seem like they've built a very good car for both their drivers. But drivers are enjoying it, driving a lot of confidence, a lot of energy in the team as well. And results like especially qualifying when they're finishing P4, P5 or P6 or whatever ahead of certain other cars, other stronger competitors,
Mm.
is giving them a lot of more morale boosting
Yeah.
confidence as well. And coming to the Mercedes, I think bad race for them. I'm not sure what went wrong because they did have a very good. What I mean in terms of George Russell, he finished on the podium again in quali P3,
Yeah. P3.
and obviously Kimi didn't do well in front of his home fans, but George is Mr. Consistent, so he did get that result.
Yeah.
But something happened in the race. I think obviously the failure with George with Kimi's car.
And
I
Kimi
think
was
he
doing
just
well in
lost
the
that.
race despite that qualifying. He was in the top 10. He was in the points.
He was. So something went. They need to invest. I'm not. They probably would have investigated. I'm not sure what the issue is. He just lost drive,
Yeah.
and George just kept going backwards because of tire performance.
Right. Right.
So
I
not a
mean, he
good
was
race
very
for him.
close to losing a P7 too. Carlos was in DRS at that point.
He was. He was.
I think
Yes.
either safety car wasn't so long as it was. Carlos probably would have gotten P7 out of George
Yeah.
and maybe even challenged Leclerc for P6. Like Williams was very, very close to this too.
They were there, and they had the fresher tires as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the reason why Carlos was so close, and Alex
Right.
obviously had the fresher tires.
Yeah. But I think in general, George has been quite the revelation this season, I must say. I mean, he did take over. Even last year we saw, when he was given the responsibility of being the lead Mercedes driver, he did take the opportunity with both hands. He was consistently outperforming Lewis. I mean, sure, Lewis was experimenting, but still, I mean, outperforming Lewis in this is no mean feat, right?
Yeah.
Seven-time world champion and just casually beating him in qualifying every weekend and the race. Um, but also this year, there's a lot of hype on Kimi, right? There's a lot of doubts on George. Uh, Not just on this pod. I mean, a lot of people were trolling George, saying that, hey, Kimi will be faster than you, and then next year, Toto will dump George for Max or whatever. All those wild, silly season speculation was going on. And George is put it to rest. I mean, he's clearly better than Kimi. I mean, no offense to Kimi. Kimi is having a very good rookie season. But George is really showing his leadership credentials and all.
He is. He is.
Number
I
one
agree.
driver, and why Toto showed faith in him. So
Yeah, and he's probably due a contract extension. I'm not sure
yeah,
when
yeah,
he's going to get
easy.
it, but if he does, it's a deserved one.
Yeah, yeah. I wouldn't be surprised at all. I think Toto has chilled a bit on the max quoting.
Yeah.
So I think he will take his chances with George. Rather keep a driver that's been with them, rather than maybe coulda, shoulda, woulda trying to go for max, right? Um, yeah, and also if Red Bull turns around a season like this, Max is not leaving. I mean, that's for sure.
He's not. Yeah.
Yeah, even if he's challenged for title, even if he doesn't win, if he finish what, he finish like P2, 30 points behind Oscar or Lando,
Yeah. That's a great season.
yeah, that's a great season despite not having the best car.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think at this point it's pretty certain that Max will wait for 2026 to get over in the new Rex to make a decision. And I don't think Mercedes is waiting that long. George's contract, does it end this season if I'm not wrong? Or
I think it
next?
ends this season. Yes.
Yeah. So I don't think Toto will be waiting around to, you know, wait for Max.
Hmm.
I
I think
mean
that ship
George,
has sailed now.
yeah, and George is showing very good
I don't think.
performance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think he deserves to get replaced or anything. No way.
Yeah. So yeah, good season for George. I know we trolled George on this channel. Guys, it's all jokes. We read your
Yeah.
comments. We really don't. Come on, do you actually think we mean it when we say, "Oh, George Russell does nothing and gets P3"? Of course not. I mean,
Yeah. Just
he's one of the
trolling
best
because
F1 drivers, the fastest guys on the block, man. Come on.
definitely we call him Mr. Consistent because he
Yeah,
delivers
Mr. Saturday, Mr.
numbers.
Consistent. All those nicknames are
Saturday.
there
Yeah.
for a reason.
And
We
watch out
did.
for Monaco. I think we'll do our predictions later, but I think he's going to have a good race in Monaco.
Yeah, I really won't be surprised if George finishes on the podium there, considering
Yeah.
how he's lighting up qualifying. Yeah, I
And
mean, yes, the meme is he does nothing and gets P3, but come on, he's doing good stuff in that car. But Monaco is probably the one place you can say that he did nothing and got P3.
exactly. That could happen.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's it for our Imola review. Yeah, what about the
Any
other teams?
other?
Aston
Oh,
Martin
please.
had another terrible
Yeah.
race outside the points. Oh yeah, of course, I almost forgot. I know we didn't do rookie of the race in predictions, but for once, Aniket, Kimi Antonelli was not the best rookie in the
I
race.
was just going to say that. Isaac Hajar. Well done, Mr.
What a
Hajar. He
race!
had a
What a
great
race for
race.
Isaac Hadjar. P9 in Imola in such a driver challenging track.
Isaac Hajar is like doing very well in his debut season, and he's
Right.
he's just improving by every race. So great result from Isaac,
Absolutely.
and I think he's here to stay for a long time in F1 based
Yeah.
on how this season is going.
Like
And but I hope he doesn't.
if you look at all the other rookies, sorry for cutting you off, but if you look at all the other
Yeah,
rookies in the Imola classification for the race, right? Um, Liam Lawson P14, Colapinto P16, Behrman P17, Bortoleto P18. Antonelli had mechanical issues, but the bottom five, four of them were rookies,
yeah,
and one of them was Lance Stroll. Sorry, Lance, but and Isaac Hadjar is in the points. So it was a race where rookies really, really struggled. We saw even Kimi Antonelli not having a good qualifying either, and Isaac Hadjar had a very good qualifying. What is he? P7, P8, something like that.
yeah. He definitely did have.
P9, yeah, P9 in qualifying. So yeah,
Basically, he didn't lose a place. He finished
yeah,
started P9, finished P9. So great stuff from him. Kept his
yeah.
position.
Despite
And
all the movement that happened around him, because quali and the race was very different from, like,
yeah,
say, I don't know, P4 downwards, Isaac Hadjar maintained it.
yep. And I think like we just end this pod with a quick recap of our predictions, which we did,
Yeah.
because
Yes.
I think we did predict quali and race. So
We
I remember
predicted McLaren 1-2 throughout the entire weekend, and that
yes,
was not true even once.
I did predict George for qualifying P3.
P3. That and
So
that, yes, that came true.
he did get through. I did pick Franco Colapinto as the bust of the race, and kind
Yes.
of came through
Yeah.
because he did have a very subpar race, in first race back.
I picked
So
Aston Martin as a bust of the race, which seemed to be a very, very bad prediction after qualifying,
yeah.
but they totally unraveled themselves in the race.
Oh, they had a shitty, horrible race. I
Yeah.
agree. And who was your pick for third in the race? I remember picking Max for third in the race. I think you picked George, is it?
Yeah, I think I picked George for the race. I picked Max for qualifying, and Max did one
Or
better, even
didn't you pick
P2.
Lewis or something? I remember
Oh,
you.
yeah,
Oh,
sorry. The race, I think I picked a Ferrari, and I was very close, right?
yeah,
Lewis
you
came
were.
P4.
Yeah.
But for quali, I picked Max for P3, and he
Max.
did one better, even P2. But
Yeah.
also, one more thing we said was we said that even if Lando goes to P4 or P5, I remember you saying that he will just go up the ranks and finish in the podium. And that's basically what happened, right? Lando finished P2.
I think one last thing was our brave or bold pick of the race, or I said both a bold pick of the weekend. I think I said like we'll have one Ferrari out in Q2. We had both,
We had both.
and and you had Lewis in P3. He came close, so
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think 0 points for both of us there. Yeah,
But yeah, I think after that qualifying, I did not expect Lewis would come that close to podium.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, great drive from Ferrari, and also I think we did see Lewis acknowledge the paddock, the
First
factory,
home
and
race
the garage and
in
everyone.
Ferrari. Yeah, he
No,
was
he
loving
did
it out
acknowledge
there.
the improvements. What I'm saying, he did say after the race on the radio. Lewis thanked the people at the factory, the garage, the standard Lewis dialogue, but
Yeah,
he was very happy. He did call out that they did a good job for the race, and he was very angry on Saturday. Like Lewis was
he
publicly
was. He
calling the
was.
team out.
Basically, they said. I mean, they said he tried everything on the car
Yeah,
which was possible, and he still got the
right.
maximum results. So.
Both Louis, it's funny. Like everyone was expecting Lewis and Charles to be fighting each other, and both the drivers are like, man, the team is garbage. What do we do?
And Charles did say he didn't have any expectations for Monaco
Yeah,
already. So yeah, we don't know.
yeah. Charles and Lewis are having a baller time, and even saw in that Lego race, they're having absolutely amazing time together.
Wish the car was faster though.
Yeah, wish the car
That's
was
nice.
on.
Still
True.
have time though. We'll see. Still 17 more
Yeah.
races to go.
Yeah, and also Sauber almost had a good race. At one point, Hulkenberg was in P10, but he
Hmm.
got overtaken by what's that? Alonso and other people. Um, yeah, Alpine kind of disappointing after their quali showing, right?
Alpine had a good qualifying, I remember. I think, right?
Yeah, they were P10. They got into Q3 pretty comfortably, but yeah, they couldn't finish in the
Yeah, I mean
points.
Ferrari really underperformed as you can see from the
Right.
races. It should never have been P11 and
Exactly.
P12. So, and
Yeah.
I think P4 and P5 or whatever was kind of the true
Mm-hmm.
reflection of the race
Right.
for them.
Yeah. I mean, Alpine they were showing some promise in the previous races, but they're back to what P13
Yeah,
and P18. Sorry, not P18, P13 and
P16.
whatever P16. Yeah, but yeah, I wonder what Flavio is thinking now. Call up into crash in qualifying, added to the repair bill, and now
Oh yeah. He came and crashed like immediately. Oh, what the hell?
I mean, did you like Flavio? Did you not see last season at all?
I know, I agree. He's such a good driver, but he's just like so error prone, man.
Yeah. At least Jack doing an excuse for his crash, man. They didn't tell him to close DRS. But yeah. Anyways,
Yep.
yeah, guys, that's all for us today. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment. Yeah, leave a comment on what else you would like to see on this channel. And we'll be back on Friday to preview the slowest and most boring race of the calendar in Monaco, but the most glamorous, bar
Yeah.
none.
We'll be doing it from our yachts.
Yes, I yachts. Yeah. Maybe Aniket, you're close to water. Maybe you could, I don't know,
I,
sit in front of a boat or something while we're recording.
and maybe you just go to the road or something because I think it's flooded there, right?
Yeah. But yeah, we'll see you guys in a couple of days to preview Monaco and provide our predictions and catch up what's going on in the paddock. See you.